You're listening to Driving Place-Based Innovation, a podcast series by Newcastle Gateshead Initiative, produced in partnership with the Digital Tourism Think Tank. I'm Nick Hall, and I'll be your host for this series where we're going to be looking at how digital and technology innovation is driving transformation of North East England's visitor economy. Throughout the series, we'll be sitting down with organisations near and far, balancing a local perspective where we hope to shine a light on innovation in and around Newcastle with global perspectives, bringing together learnings from further afield. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts to be sure that you don't miss out on future episodes. For more information about the series or to get in touch, just head over to ngi.org.uk/podcast, where you'll be able to find out more information and how to get involved. In episode 3 of Driving Place-Based Innovation, we shine a light on local collaboration, where we'll be inviting two different takes on the power of fostering strong partnerships to get buy-in in pursuit of a bigger vision. First, we head over to meet Amy Whitfield, the budding entrepreneur behind AAA Food Tours, where her tantalizing foodie tours offer an insider's take on the vibrant culinary scene in Newcastle, Northumberland, and Durham. Collaboration lies at the heart of what makes Amy's tours truly unique. And as she reflects on her success to date, one thing is clear: collaboration will remain key to driving future growth and success. Later, we check in with Luca D'Angelo, director of the destination management and marketing organisation Dolomiti Paganella in northern Italy. Since taking on the role 8 years ago, Luca has seen a huge shift from winter to all-year-round tourism and a complete diversification of the offer. The shift is both driven by the impact of climate change and also the motivation for a more sustainable model for tourism. But at the heart of their success lies strong and consistent vision and leadership, coupled with local collaboration at every point.
Yes, so I'm Amy Whitfield. As you say, I'm the founder of AAA Food Tours. We're an award-winning food tour business, and we run food tours right across the region, here in Durham, Newcastle, Northumberland, and probably beyond if I have my way this year. And we've been established for coming up 4 years now, towards the back end of April. Yeah.
So tell us a bit about the concept. I know that having really quality produce, organic and sustainable produce and food experiences sits at the heart of it. So tell us about the idea and how it came together.
Sure. So really it all started about 11 years ago. My husband and I, we took a trip to New York. So we went to New York in between Christmas and New Year. We spent 4 days there. And if anybody's been to New York, you'll understand just what a bustling, busy atmosphere it is there. And it's an amazing place to go. So we literally dumped off our bags at our hotel, and we set out into the middle of the city, not really knowing what we were going to do. So it was about 5 o'clock of an evening, and we were hungry, basically. And it was weird because somebody approached us with a black coat, bit of a clipboard. And we were just thinking where we're going to go tonight, really, to get some food and explore the city a little bit. And this guy said to us, would you like to do a food tour this afternoon? And I've never heard of a food tour before, but it said food. He said food, and I was like, "Yeah, that sounds really good. Whatever that is, we're going to do it." So we ended up taking a couple of hours trip with this gentleman around, a very small area of New York, so vast. But what I loved about it was the things that we saw and the experiences that we had within that very short space of time. So I just fell in love with the concept straight away. So my memories of that are, we went to the meatpacking district, and we kind of went in, and we were congregated around some rum barrels, and a guy brought out like a half lobster, and I'll be honest, I don't even think I'd probably had lobster at that point. So it looked a little bit like daunting because I thought, how on earth am I going to eat this? So they talked about the local business, why we were sampling what we're having today. They brought out the apparatus, so we were, we were taught how to really eat lobster properly and get all the meat out of the claws and pincers and things. It was really interesting. And then in contrast to that, we went really central, and we went to a pizza shop and we had a big slice of New York pizza. We ended up going to a mozzarella bar, and I was blown away by that concept because I'm a cheeseaholic, self-confessed. And we walked into the mozzarella bar, and there was just so much variety. I didn't realize back then, naively. I just thought there was one variety of mozzarella. It was the kind that was sliced and put on your pizza, and there was so much to choose from. And the concept there was, you had a lovely wooden board with some spinach leaves, a bed of spinach leaves, and then you selected a couple of your burrata, your mozzarella, a glass of fizz, and it was sliced and put on top of the spinach with some charcuterie. I just thought this is absolutely amazing. We learned so much, and really condensed. The trip, we got so much from them couple of hours. Really, I thought what a brilliant concept, and I don't think I had social media back then, to be honest. So when we came back home, I kind of did some research really briefly. I thought Newcastle has nothing like that. Some major cities in the country do, but we certainly don't. And that always stuck in my mind for years until you fast forward like 7 years later, where I began to create the concept and brought it to the Northeast. So, yeah, that was how it all began, really.
Wow, that's such an exciting experience that you've just described, and I can only imagine then how you've kind of built from this and thought, how can you adapt this to the Northeast with what you've done in Newcastle? So, tell us a little bit about the tours that you provide. You've created something. I guess you've shared something there that's really, really. Fully immersive and experiential, and is that kind of the idea that you've tried to build into your own tours?
Yes, exactly that. The first tour that I ever put together was, and still is, the most popular tour that we provide at the moment. It's called A Taste of Newcastle. So the idea behind that tour is we really go and delve into the city and experience the really bustling atmosphere that we have to offer here. And we go to some of the best independent restaurants and eateries that the city has to offer. So originally, when I put that tour together, I was looking at how, what would that look like? And originally, I kind of was going to go down the idea of just local fare. So really northern recipes and brown ale and all the things that we're very well known for, which are amazing things. But I started to think, well, if we just go down the Geordie Fair route, we're going to be eliminating some fantastic restaurants within the city, with cuisine from all over the world. So my Newcastle food tour was really my take on the city's best independent restaurants and markets and things. So we have that tour, and then it's evolved from there over the years. We now have a couple of tours in Durham, which are going really well. We launched them last summer. We have an Oosburn tour, which incorporates a collaboration with the Oosburn Trust, a charity organisation that looks after the Victoria Tunnel. We have a cheese and wine tour, one of my favourites. And we also have an amazing Northumbrian coastline tour. So I wanted to work in Northumberland. I live there myself, South Northumberland, and we've just got the most amazing coastline. So we have a driver who takes our guests along the coastline for the day. So we have a bunch of tours now with just completely different experiences on all of them.
That sounds absolutely incredible, and I love the way that you've been able to bring in that sense of place and the magnificent scenery together with those different experiences, which both showcase the independent food scene, but also the produce side of things as well. So, tell us a bit about collaboration, because I guess to make all of these tours exceptional, you need to find exceptional businesses, entrepreneurs, people, producers. How have you gone about that, and how have people people, I guess, responded to your excitement to bring all of this together?
Yeah, sure. So I'll be honest, that was a really daunting part of putting together the business in the early stages, because I was actually on maternity leave with my little boy when I started to put together the business a couple of years ago. Um, so I always say, I just met up with a local business just last week, and I said to the guy, I said, "Do you remember you were the first person I ever met to talk about the food tours?" And I was so nervous because as a mum staying at home, I hadn't really seen very many people in general. So to go and pitch this business idea to a local business, it was really daunting. I've got to be honest, it was frightening. Um, it was really well received. So what I decided to do early on was to get my foot in the physical door. For me and my experience, emails, don't work so much. You need to really go and knock on the door and see that person and hopefully show your enthusiasm about the idea that you've got. And that, I think, that helped me massively. Just, it was a daunting thing, but to go and knock on the door and say, "Can you listen to the idea that I've got?" So in general, it was really well received. Everybody was open to the idea of collaborating with me. But in honesty, people just didn't really know what it was. So until we actually brought our first group of guests along to the restaurants and they saw the mechanics of it all and the benefits that it had to them, that was when they really started getting excited about what we were doing together. You know? Um, so it's yeah, it was all about just getting in and speaking to them face to face, and telling them about this wonderful idea that we had that would benefit them and us. So it was really, yeah, like I say, it was really well received. Yeah.
Amazing, and really interesting to see that experience of, yeah, exactly, having to go straight in the door and talk to people face to face. We do a lot behind the desk when we start a business or when we try to grow our business, but I think you've also seen this other side of the tourism and hospitality business, which is the face to face side, and sometimes you can have a lot more success just approaching people in more of a human way. Tell me about that human aspect. How does that come across in your tours? Are you looking for storytellers? Do you try to bring out the personality behind the different people who make up that experience? Tell us kind of about the role that they play, and perhaps what role they play also as ambassadors for the Northeast food scene.
Yes, absolutely. So that's exactly what we do. We bring the business owner to the forefront really on all of our tours, because one of the things about these tours um is that as a tour guide we're talking about local history as we're walking along the city, but before we get into any restaurant or any market, we're really homing in on why we've chosen to work with these guys and what makes them exceptional in the city, and why we've wanted to collaborate with them. So a good example of that is we work with the Granger Market, which is a wonderful indoor market in Newcastle, in the heart of the city. And I'm an advocate for all markets. We work with Durham Market also. And I just love the atmosphere in those places because we've got, sultry, where, the markets can be quite cold sometimes, and they have busy days, they have more quiet days. In particular, that particular market has, it's undergoing quite a bit of construction at the moment. So, some traders do have it tough. And what I always say to my guests is, even though all this work's going on in the market, these traders are still, producing some amazing quality food. And I need you to get in there and see them. So we talk to the producers, the owners, face to face mostly where possible. Obviously, restaurants are a little bit different because we've obviously got a business owner. Sometimes we have a business owner that's in the background work. They're really pretty good at coming out and coming to the table and asking if we've had a great day, where have you been that day, and also talking about their business. I find that restaurateurs and sole traders, they like to talk about their business, and really showcase for themselves what they do. Um, but we've got some really good relationships with them. And we have a lot of banter. So, for example, the Granger Market, it's a lot of fun. We go to a local fishmonger where Lindsay Brothers, they've been in the market for a number of years, and we'll open the oysters, and they're having good fun with us, So guests are laughing, and we'll have a bit, that good old fashioned Geordie banter. And it's an integral part of these tours. It really is.
It must be so nice to have this sense that you're meeting the people behind these incredible businesses that each in their own have amazing reputations. And perhaps as a normal diner, you might not even get that chance to meet the owners. So I guess you're bringing something really unique, and something that really connects people to these entrepreneurs that have founded these incredible businesses. What's the mix of guests that you've seen? Do you have a good mix of kind of traditional tourists who are visiting and perhaps come from quite far away, as well as locals as well?
Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, when I initially was putting together some market research, I thought, this business was going to be seasonal, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a more seasonal business, down tools for a couple of months almost in the winter months. And it was going to be strongly, primarily, guests from overseas, tourists coming into the area, etc. Obviously, month on month, the ratio does change, but we have a thriving business, I've got to say, and I'm really pleased to say that, but it is an all year round business. And I was astonished about the amount of local guests that come to the tours, and they're looking for an alternative day out. So they might be thinking, I've got a birthday celebration, an anniversary, or maybe just ladies of a certain age, and maybe they've gone to school together, but they've found themselves living in different parts of the region. And once a month they come together and they're looking for, something different as an experience. And also the corporate market's growing quite steadily at the moment, because local businesses have established that it's a nice, relaxed way to network, something a little bit different coming along on these tours. The food tour works quite well for businesses. Um, Tourism's so strong as well, particularly now we're over COVID. Last year, I saw really great numbers coming from the local ships coming into dock at North Shields, coming in and looking for an experience for a few hours. People coming from all other parts of the country. They want to come and see what the Northeast has to offer. Maybe spending a couple of days in Northumberland, a day or two in the city. I've got a healthy mix, I've got to say. It's a real good mix of people. And that's what we love as tour guides. We meet people from all sorts of different walks of life every day, and we enjoy having a chat to them.
That's really great to hear. And I think it's so inspirational to hear that an industry that is often perceived as a seasonal industry, one that perhaps struggles to create jobs, to create opportunities, for example, in the low season, in the winter season, is actually one that creates a lot of opportunity year round. But if you're ready to embrace that diversification, that of course many businesses have gone through with COVID, but of course, as a relatively new business, you've seen diversification built in right from the beginning. So you've been able to really embrace all of the different markets. Tell us a bit about how technology plays a role, your kind of digital presence, and those different sales channels that we obviously focus a lot on trying to get right. Where would you say most of your business is coming from, or how is that split when you look at the digital landscape?
Yeah, a good mix, really. I mean, I do have my own website, so we offer tickets to be purchased via the website, which is probably one of the most popular avenues to go to channels to go through to book one of our tickets. We're also on Viator, Airbnb, with the NGI. We've got an amazing platform with them. We get a healthy amount of business from them also. Um, the likes of social media as well. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We use all of the social media platforms. Now, we talk about it, potentially innovation later on. I've got a good story about that. I did a talk at Newcastle College last week, and they were all asking if I'm on TikTok. Now, I'm not, but I've been told to get on TikTok. So one of my plans this week is I made a pledge that I would be on TikTok by the end of this week. So that's you know, I'm learning as I go as well. So yeah, a healthy mix of ways to engage with my the business, and obviously also book as well.
Yeah, so that diversified kind of channel strategy is really working out for you. They're not putting all your eggs into one basket, but as you mentioned, Viator, the website, partner channels, and of course, social. So I guess everybody's now going to be keeping an eye out for how your TikTok venture goes. Good luck with that. I know it's not easy to get right, but I think we definitely salute you for trying to embrace that. Tell me a little bit about innovation generally. What does this term mean to you? Because it's innovation is a term that we use quite loosely sometimes, and I guess it means different things to different people.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it's all about, coming up with new ideas and new experiences, whether that be through new product, new service. Um, for myself, it's so important as a business to, always be thinking of the next new thing, not be complacent, and not, be thinking, I've got the business model right here, it's doing so well, we'll just keep this running as it is. For me as a business owner, if you want to grow, we've always got to be thinking on how to either enhance existing experiences or products, or coming up with new ideas. So, for an example, for me, the TikTok's a great example of that. It's like, because we're the leading food tour in the northeast. We need to be on TikTok, and that's going to hopefully be excellent for the business. But the other example is we run a Northumbrian coastline tour, which is doing so well. But this year I've been looking to, how can I enhance that experience for my guests? So one of the ideas that I've got this year is we go and sample some food and drink from a local artisan bakers in a lovely place called Almouth along the coastline. Currently, we pop in, we go and chat to the owners, and it's a lovely experience. But we're right on the wonderful seafront. They've got a brilliant beach there. So this year, when the weather allows, I'm thinking, why not take a couple of bistro tables and get them on the sand. We'll sample that produce right on the sand, and when the weather's good, we've got an amazing coastline. Let's make use of that when we're out on our afternoon. It enhances the experience for the guest, and I think it makes us stand out a little bit. So I think we've always got to be looking and keeping moving as business owners, how we can really, develop existing products as well. So innovation for me, it means a lot of different things. But as a business, we should always be thinking about that, and maybe readdressing in our business plans, looking at things that we thought about, before we started the business, looking at things we haven't done, maybe look to implement them in the business. It's something that I think about quite a lot.
Incredible. Well, I think you perfectly summed up what, at least for you, is the heart of being innovative as a business. Always looking to bring on new ideas, never being complacent, and always thinking about, yeah, how you can embrace new opportunities, new ideas, and keep developing things further. That was Amy Whitfield, who I'm sure you'll agree is certainly a passionate young entrepreneur with a lot of promise ahead. Back to Italy for the second time in this series, we're now going to head over to the Dolomites, where Luca D'Angelo reflects on the change witnessed in tourism over the years and the increasing importance of involving different communities in the process of transformation.
I'm Luca. I'm 45 years old, so I'm destination manager here at Dolomiti Paganellas. I think that's my probably 8th year. I'm lost in count actually. I think I'm entering now the 8th year now, and yeah, it's been a journey for me. When I started, I was coming from different experience in another DMO, always in Trentino. So we are in northern Italy. Let's say this. Maybe some people they don't know us. So Trentino is in the northern tip of Italy, in the Alps, of course. So we are an alpine destination, very close to the border of Austria. And our area, it's not huge, even if we have changed something on the last couple of years, because there's been a revision of the tourism organization in Trentino. So now our area is a little bit bigger, considering when we started. When we started, there was just 5 villages, the original DMO in the regional area. Now we have 13 villages, and we also have gained, basically, we are lucky to work with a territory. It's down the valley, and we work especially on wine tourism. So now we have basically a complete package of products coming from the winter tourism, the outdoor tourism in summer, and also now wine tourism and discovering wineries. So it's really exciting for us, this new journey. Dolomiti Paganella, it's again, it's really close to Verona. It's 1 hour and 15 minutes from Verona. That's the biggest city. Also, Trento is one of the most important city. And being so close to such cities and very close from the motorway as well, it's a really important strength for us, because in only 20 minutes you're basically on the slopes or on the bike trails or on the Dolomites, basically. And the Dolomites are part of our product. You know that the Dolomites are UNESCO World Heritage, so it's really important for us, and it's iconic. We are not the only one that have Dolomites, luckily, because we don't want Dolomites just for us. We share this with other territories, with other areas, but that's really important for us to. We are really lucky. We feel really lucky to have such an incredible, spectacular mountain range with us here. And also, of course, Lake Molveno, and this very, very attractive lakes. It's been awarded for a long time as the best lake in Italy from one of the most important environmental organizations in Italy, because of the quality of the water, of all the sustainability action that the community takes into account. And also, we're working a lot with Lake Molveno. Maybe we can talk about this later.
Amazing. So indeed, the backdrop that you have as a destination is incredible. It's iconic and it's world famous, and strategically very well positioned as well, having access to those really key metropolis areas, but also having a really, really good access to the international tourism market. Now, traditionally, many people might have made a wrong assumption that winter tourism is what dominates your offer. And perhaps in the past that has been the case, but you've been able to bring about this really big shift. And I think that's probably reflected in just some of the different strengths and key kind of product aspects that you highlighted just in introducing that. Tell us a little bit about how the destination has been traditionally positioned in the past, and how you've started to make this major shift over the last 8 years under your leadership to really move it towards an all-year tourism offer.
Yeah, this has been really a journey for us. Usually in the Alps, the winter season is the most important one, or it used to be one of the most important ones. When I arrived here in the Dolomiti Paganella, summer was really pretty good, actually. And when we say summer, we need to clarify this. It's not just winter against summer, it's winter and other 3 seasons, spring, summer, and autumn. So that's why we say now, we like to say that we are a no-season destination. But again, when we started, winter was predominant in terms of volumes, in terms of pressure, even if the season goes from December to March, end of March, our mountains are not so high. The highest peak where you can ski is 2,100 meters. So there are other destinations in the Alps where you can ski much higher, up to 3,000 meters. But we are lucky actually to have water. We're lucky also to have the position of the slopes that are a little bit north face. So it keeps, even if, with the climate change is becoming very tricky to let people snow and producing also artificial snow. Yeah, but the journey started with the winter really strong, and the summer was already good. But even the perception was the lower season, not the unlucky season, let's say like this. And we had already a lot of tourists coming, but we didn't have any strategy basically for spring, summer, and all the 3 seasons. And so when we started in 2015 with this new strategy, basically that we designed, we saw that winter was already a mature product, and it is a mature product, still working, very good, but it is a mature product. And so you can't grow too much. And also in the last year, we are facing a lot of challenges related to climate change, and especially this year. Like December was really, really hot. Luckily, we had a little bit of snow at the beginning, but we know that other destinations in the Alps, even northern to us, Austria, or even some destination in France, they struggle. But it's a matter of statistics. This year we were a little bit more lucky, and we don't know about next year. The only thing that we know that the temperature are rising a lot. And this is actually also a problem for summer because the water supply could be tricky. But this is, we know, it's complicated. Maybe we can talk later. And so when we start this journey, we saw a lot of opportunities in designing new experiences and new products. The destination was performing already pretty well in terms of, especially related to the family products. So a lot of Italian families, let's say, used to come here, but they're still coming for the summer holidays, mainly from, let's say, 20th of June, after June, when the school closed, the school are going to close, and till the end of August. That's the peak season for Italy. But we understood that there were a lot of potential, especially in May, in June, and also October and November. So when we started designing the bike destination, and you know this example because we talk a lot, but we're still developing actually. So there's a lot of news coming up. We started with only 6 trails, basically. But there was a potential over there because we saw new kind of people coming, new kind of targets, different seasonality. So we decided, okay, let's work on this. We thought that we think that there are a lot of potential. And so we started with lift companies and with the municipalities. We took care of this, and we're still taking care of all the developing of the bike product. And as I always say, the bike product now is really successful. So we started in 2015, just to give you some numbers. We started with around 4,500 bikers. We can count them because they are buying basically a bike pass. It's like the ski pass, because our bike product is more into gravity, so you basically go down it, and you buy a ticket to get access to the lift. And now in the last season, 2022, we reached quota of 42,000 bikers. So there was a big smashing numbers growing, and also during COVID, I have to say the bike product was anti-crisis. Even if we lost some part of the season, especially June and May was really tricky a couple of years ago, but still we had a lot of guys and girls coming. They want to ride, so it was really important for us to have this kind of product. And but what happened actually that in summer, it's important to say that the summer is really different from winter. Winter has been dominated by the ski product, even if it's changing now. But summer, it's a multi-product approach. It has to be like this. Of course, you need to find your way. You need to find where you can do the best. And we did this with the bike product. But we know that it can't be like winter. So we can't be only a bike destination. We need to also to offer trekking, outdoors wine tourism now. So it's a multi-experience vacation in summer. Maybe you can be driven by a stronger motivation like biking, but maybe your family is not biking and they want to go to the parks, they want to go to find the animals, they want to taste wine maybe, or you can do a mixture of this. But bike for us was a really something very important because we, with the lift companies, we decide together to open the season very early. So now, just to give you an example, to understand that why we can say that we are no season. The lift company in the ski aspect, in the winter dress, let's say like this, they're closing the 10th of April, or they're planning to close the 10th of April. We will see, because it will depend on the weather. Now, actually, it's a little bit better, but it was really hot. And the bike trade, the first bike trays, we're going to open 3 bike trays, the 8th of April. So there is no stop anymore, basically. We know that the flows are not the same. With biking, you start gradually. You don't have like thousands of people at the beginning. But that's a signal that we're giving also to hoteliers, to all the system that it is working here. And it goes up to the beginning of November, basically. So now our 3 season, also in terms of lift companies opening, it's much longer than the winter season. And so the opening of the lift also helps a lot. The hoteliers also helps maybe the huts, the Alpine guides to organize other services, other experience. So it was like a testing for us and open a lot of opportunities for others as well. But again, what is really important that in summer, especially in the Alps, you can be really good at one product, but it can't be the only product like winter.
I think you've really shown, when we talk a lot about diversification of the product offering, I think you've really given us a much clearer idea of what that really has to look like for diversification to really be something that can actually drive the destination forward. And well, very impressive. I have to say, I was expecting a bigger gap there with the lifts closing and opening. There's virtually no gap. So I guess this also demonstrates the importance of the supply chain that exists within tourism. As you mentioned, there's these kind of hero products which stand out. They help you to put the destination on the stage, if you like, whether that's through content or just through reputation. But then you've got all of those other experiences which are as rich and as invigorating, but perhaps don't captivate in quite the same way because they're maybe just not quite so iconic. So I guess here collaboration is really, really key. And I know that you've had to work with the industry to move the needle, if you like, to start to make that shift over this period. How has that looked like for you? How have you approached collaboration?
I mean, like being, if you want to work on a DMO or being a destination manager or running such a business as a DMO, you need to work with collaboration because I always say that we are in the middle between the guests and the community, basically. But we don't owe anything. So we can't managing anything that it's our basically. It's not the normal company working with DMO. So you need to collaborate. It's the only way to go on. Talking about, for example, what we did with the bike sector, it was the first time, for example, that we collaborate so intensively with the lift company. And now, basically, we are running and we're taking care of all the products from designing new trains, maintaining trains, marketing and communication, branding, sponsorship, events. So the strategy is all designed by us. Of course, we have already, and we'll have a lot of meeting with lift companies. I say lift companies because they are the main stakeholder here. Of course, then there are the guides, the rental. When we started, we had just one rental. Now we have 8 points of rental. So just to give you an idea how the business is growing. And but what I feel it's really important, also in terms of collaboration, that you need a clear strategy. Otherwise, people don't understand, especially the industry. They won't understand you. It's really complicated for them. They are stuck in their work. They do a lot of job. They work hard. And if the strategy is not clear, if you don't show where you want to go and how you want to go there, it's going to be very, very tricky. So if you change a lot of time your strategy, and sometimes you have to say no as well, because we have this idea, we want to go there. So wait, we will see. We work together and we will go somewhere, we will arrive somewhere. So collaboration in this way for us, it's very, very important. It's tough. It's very tough because the industry is not always like you think. But you need a lot of empathy. You need to enter into their vision. You need to understand their meetings. Sometimes you need to go a little bit further, also their meetings, if you want to change, if you want to create a big shift. Otherwise, if you just follow the actual meetings, you won't find any space for success or for innovation, basically, for changing. So we collaborate with a lot of people, like from the smallest stakeholders to the bigger one, as the lift companies. They're really powerful. They have a lot of money, of course, they can invest. But we found this model very successful. So clear strategy that the DMO has got, with controlling some of the aspect, the majority of the aspect, especially the most strategic one. And also financially, the lift companies are much more powerful than us because they can get, for example, all the money from the lift, from the bike pass, or the ski pass, whatever, and they can invest. So our role is to show them how they can invest. And listen, something is really funny when we were designing the bike area. It was at some point, I think 4 years ago, that everybody wanted to do easy flow trails. We say, yes, it's fine, but we can't do easy flow trails everywhere because it will be the same. I mean, our main strength now as a bike carrier is diversity, also inside the product, because you can have easy flow trails, medium flow trails, technical single trails. So the diversity gives you the panoramic, of course, that we are lucky. We can just power up the panorama and the scenery, of course. But without a clear strategy, without a guide, basically, as we're doing, maybe we could expect a lot of repetition, a lot of similar stuff, disorder, basically. So with this strategy, it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy absolutely, but it's easier to guide stakeholder into a clear goal. This is just an example, of course, on the bike, but it works for the family product. It works for the outdoor. We work a lot, for example, with the Alpine guides in developing experience, what we call top experience, in the especially trekking and via ferrate, climbing, etc. And also on the wine tourism now that we are developing. This is kind of different because when we are on the original destination, we had a lot. I mean, tourism is the first industry. So we had around 2 million overnight stays. We didn't say this before, but and now 65% are from April to November, and 35% are from December to March. So that's the winter season. So that's how the overnight stays change.
So that's a really, really huge success story. Well, congratulations, first of all, because I know that's definitely, as you make it sound easy, it's a lot of work involved. But I think you certainly help, I think, people to understand why a clear brand proposition and a clear vision behind your work that guides your strategy is so important. These are not just buzzwords that we use in marketing and in kind of brand speak. They really do allow us to give that sense of direction and to get everybody on the train, if you like, towards the same destination. And I think it's really interesting what you talk about, because you've achieved growth at a time, during a period where much of the tourism industry has perhaps been a little complacent, and talked a lot about the problems of tourism, the problems of over-tourism especially. And I think you've shown here, as any investor would look at a product or a company or a brand and say, I want to see room for growth. I want to see how this product can scale. Actually, what you've been able to demonstrate here is that in a very unique industry like tourism, you can actually create that growth and scale, but spreading that out without actually creating those flashpoints where then everything breaks down. But I know that as you've been through this process, you've also involved the local community in that. And you've launched initiatives like the Future Lab. I know that you've worked a lot. You mentioned the lake earlier, and I know that you've also done a lot around education. So tell us a bit about the motivation for that, first of all, and how that's all come together.
Yeah, the Future Lab has been a journey, still actually a journey. We started in 2000. The first thinking, the first reflection around the Future Lab started in late 2018, so much before COVID. And we launched the idea in October 2019, so it was already before COVID. And the idea around was to design together with the community the destination of the future. Showing that to the community. And when I say community, I'm not saying just the industry, of course. I'm saying the world community. Also, people that are not working strictly related to the tourism industry, even if in a destination such as like Dolomiti Paganella, the tourism industry is the most powerful one. and almost everybody is linked with the industry, with the tourism industry. Maybe if you are an entrepreneur that works with food, but you work with hotels, for example, or you are a plumber, but you're still working with hotels or apartments. They're serving tourists, so everything is connected. We launched this idea because we wanted to motivate also the community to be more responsible for their future, shaping the future, having the responsibility to shape the future, not just passively waiting for something to happen or the market to shape our destination. So we're just changing the mindset. And when we launched in 2019, you know that we worked around 4 tough questions. Was the DNA, so who we are now, who we will be in the future, why the people should come here and not another place in the Dolomites. It's full of nice places. We're lucky, but we know that there are a lot of nice places around us. The second one was the role of the new generations. This is really still really important for us because all the 99% of our companies are run by families here. So, and we know that some of the young generation are not so much into tourism as before, basically, because they're looking for different businesses, different approach. What we call the modern 24/7 is not working anymore, especially in the hotels where like maybe the dad is doing everything. He's doing the chef, he's doing the reception, he's doing the gardening, he's doing the social media, he's doing everything. But this was part of the success of this destination and a lot of destination hubs. So as a guest, when you enter a hotel or a services or a restaurant, you feel that you enter into a family. So that was nice. It is still nice. We want to keep this. But also we know that, the young generation have different expectations. So they want to change also. They don't want to stay 24/7. They use more technologies, but it's not easy. It's not always easy to change and to work with your parents because, path dependence is one of the most critical things to change. And so the third one was the role of the climate crisis. Again, that's why we are shifting into also no season because we still know that winter it's really important. But we also know that there are a lot of opportunities out around inside other season. And the fourth one, most important probably, and we did use the word sustainability. Even in 2019, we used the code balance. So finding the right balance between the people living here, between the guests that are coming, and between the nature where this meeting happens, basically. And it was the fourth question. And we started this journey with a lot of workshops, a lot of meetings, and then COVID happened. So we had to change all the methodology, of course. But it was really important for us to have started this work because a lot of entrepreneurs, they just attached to this idea of future, especially about a good future. During COVID, we've been through that. So even if it's not nice to talk now, but we've been through that. There was not a pessimistic view about the future, especially on tourism. But having started the Future Lab before, it really helped us to navigate into the difficult times. Now we are, actually 1 year ago, we developed what we call the Charter of Values. It's published on our website, the Future Lab. And it's basically represent the 10 values that are guiding us into the future. And now we are in the phase where we're developing projects because from values, now we are developing projects. And we have basically 2 pillars. The first one is working on, I will use the word now, sustainability projects, but real projects. And we can talk about this in a while. And the second pillars, I don't know what is important. I think they are both important. It's working on a concept of a new narrative. Because I think that as a lot of destinations, even ourselves, we did a lot of change in communication and we enter already into a less branded style, old style communication. We're not buying any more print, magazine, advertising. We're just doing digital, basically communication and PR. But we're still under mindset that it's an attractive mindset. So basically, I'm telling you why you should come here because it's nice, because we have the Dolomites, because we have Lake Molveno. And this is still okay, but it's not enough, we believe. So that's why we're entering now into a new phase, but we will need all the collaboration from all the stakeholders, all the community, where we would like to communicate also our work values. So if you come in here, you should know why and how we do things, and why we acting like this, why we are offering this kind of product, and maybe why we are asking you not to do this. Okay, and this is really linked with the sustainability project we are developing, especially the one I was anticipating in the beginning, for example, in Lake Molveno. We are really into this now, into this phase, and we would like to have something, some probably experimentation during this summer. Lake Molveno in summer, it suffers of, I would say, maybe we can say over tourism, especially because the lake is at the bottom and the parking are really close. So especially Saturday and Sunday, they get a lot of daily visitors, especially. And it's really tricky to control them because we know the numbers of tourists that stay here and they move from a different village. They don't use the car. The majority of them, they use the public transportation that we organize. But people coming from Verona, for example, or Trento for a daily Saturday at the lake, enjoying the lake, they're really tricky to control. So now we're working around two ideas. One, it's carrying capacity work. So we would like to know what's the, we say number, even this number is not, it's too easy, but what is the balance basically for that place to keep the natural aspect, to keep also the quality of the life of the resident, because when it gets really packed, you have a queue, you have people complaining, you have tourists that are complaining because they say, listen, I pay to stay here. I didn't pay to listen or to smell, the smog of the cars just waiting to go into the parking. So that would be the first one. Once we have this and this kind of strategy, we would like to develop also a new way to arrive at the lake. It could be either with maybe changing the numbers of people that can go to the parking. It can even be communicating much before you arrive, how many numbers are left, for example. It can even be like booking your parking. If you are not booking, you can't come. I know this sounds tricky. I know this sounds maybe not nice, but I think we will go in something in this direction. It's not defined yet. So we're still working with the local municipality and especially with the public municipality, because it's very much a public choice. So we need to add them, especially the mayor, especially all the people that are working around the municipality, to have the power, to have the tools also to go to the community and say, hey, listen, guys, maybe last year we had the parking contained 1,000 cars, we're going to 600 because we believe that's the right choice. It looks easy to say, but it's not. It's not. And so we are helping them to take the right decision with the right tools, with the right, testing, with the right also methods that we are experimenting and testing now. So that's a big project for us, and I think that it will be finished next year. I think this year we need more studying. We need to also understand more in details the flow of the tourists, how they move, for example, and testing maybe some pilot projects, some pilot experimentation. And another project that we are running quite big, it's what we call Dolomiti Paganella Calculator. We're working with Ercet, I'm sure you guys know. We develop a specific tool inside Ercet for hoteliers, for lift companies, for restaurants, for everybody who wants to join, to calculate, of course, the CO2 emission, but not only, to basically calculate the waste, water, food supply, and with the idea of calculating CO2, but we have no idea of certifying ourselves now. We want to show that there is a lot of space for improvement. If you don't calculate your impact, you don't know how to improve. And so that's a tool that we are developing. It's not ready yet. It will be ready, I think, in 2 or 3 weeks. We already launched the community, but now we will enter into the engaging phase. So that's a lot of work to do. And also we developed the last thing, what we call the manual of the good sustainability, good practice, that we distribute into 6,000 people that works and live here. It's just a nice tool, very easy, printed, because sometimes print still working, pretty much. And now basically everybody has got it. It contains some tools, some tips, some tricks on how you can improve your impact, basically, even as normal people working with not in tourism, but also for tourist companies.
Wow, you've really worked across so many different areas. And I think one of the things I was going to note was that when we talk about sustainability, which is a conversation we increasingly have now, perhaps even on a day-to-day basis, it seems that the destination has been defined by sustainability over many, many years. The shift in tourism that you've had to make and that you've also seen opportunities in has, of course, got some element of that incorporated into it. But at the same time, when we talk about sustainability in this context, we're talking about those really problematic areas, those aspects of what we do in our industry that potentially can harm or damage the environment or local communities. And it's very impressive to see how you've been able to identify the different issues at play and start to work towards them. And at the same time, the complexity, because at what point does our domain as a whatever we want to call these organizations, DMOs, DMMOs, destination organizations, at what point does it no longer become our responsibility and it becomes somebody else's? And I think you've shown us perhaps a different way of working, where that's really integrated relationship with the destination, with the municipalities, with the local residents, can actually be interwoven into the work you do. As a last point to end on, how would you describe innovation? I think you perhaps epitomize innovation in everything you do, but it's a term we use quite a lot. What does it mean to you?
Yes, this is a good question. I think we could talk with this for hours, but I will go maybe straight to the point. My idea of innovation in a destination, also in the DMO is a reflection of the destination. I think it's to broke one law. Actually, maybe two. Let's start with the first. The first law, it's we just to change the idea that we always act like this. We always done like this, as is in the past. I think this is one of the most complicated stuff to change in the tourism industry, because it's really path dependence. Why, if it's worked, some operators they're asking us, but why we should change if it's working now? This is the most tricky part. Because, okay, it could work now, but we already have the sensation, the feeling that it might not work maybe even next year or in the next couple of years, but we need to prepare. So we need to anticipate. So breaking this law, I think it's something really tricky, and it's the most probably innovative part that we can do as a team. And the second law that we should break, this is more even provocative, maybe. It's the client, the guest, is not always right. This is really important for us, because if you come into the destination, it's like if I come to you, Nick, to your house, I'm a guest. I can't do whatever I want in your house. You are the host. You decide what you can do. Politely, we will have a nice evening together. Maybe we'll drink some wine or beer, whatever. But you are the host. You are the one that guides me. So it's the same with the guest, with the tourist guest. Let's say like this. That's what we call a guest. With the tourist, because once you're arriving to the destination, you can't do whatever you want. And also, like the industry, they can't always say, yes, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. No, this is not possible anymore. If you want to keep the destination, the balance, and all the things that we have discussed in now. So for me, innovation, it's breaking these two laws, basically.
You've been listening to Place-Based Innovation with myself, Nick Hall. The producer of this series is Ana Balaguer-Sanchez, production and editing by Dan Hopkins. The series is part of the Hospitality Innovation Tourism Supply Programme, which supports businesses in Northumberland, Newcastle and North Tyneside to meet challenges through innovation. The programme is funded by North of Tyne Combined Authority and delivered by Newcastle Gateshead Initiative, Food and Drink Northeast and NBSL. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts to get notified of future episodes. And if you've enjoyed today's podcast, why not take a moment to leave a review? Thanks, and we'll see you next time.